guys, today we're going to make the dyna somewhat cool. Alright, if you've been following along, this is our 2008 dyna lowrider. Yes, it is an anniversary edition. It's 105th anniversary. But it is pretty kind of old manish, I will say. I'll say it in that realm of old manish, or just your typical, like, Harley rider, I guess. It's got, you know, the chrome covers, on covers, on covers, more covers. It's got the Harley windshield, which, to be honest, you know, if you're going to go on long trips, it's not bad to have. It's got the big poofy seat. Not that uncomfortable, but I'm a little too tall for that. It's got air shocks. And these are not like good air suspension. This is just like an air shock that is definitely not meant for this. It's got these big, bulky Viking bags. And while they function just fine, they just don't fit the style that we are going for, so they need to go. It had these dumb middle finger bolts. I put a plate on, and since the bags were put on, this needed to be relocated. Those bolts I tried to put back on that were really flimsy, I guess they rattled loose, and the turn signals and license plate fell off. Luckily, I heard it, and I went back for it. It's got the sissy bar and rack, which, again, cool if you're going on a trip. It's not really what this bike is going to be meant for. So, let's get into it today, and let's rip some stuff off. This bike is mainly going to be like a street ripper, while you can take it like on a beach trip. I do want to keep it accessible for the highway. So, like, Myrtle Beach is 4 hours from me, so that's like my goal, be able to take it there. Not worried about going any further than that, but just being able to ride out there, come home. I feel like that's the perfect trip that this bike would go on, but it's more important to hit the twisties and have fun locally. That's the inspiration for this build. Alright, let's focus on the front end. I feel like taking this windshield off is going to make this bike look so much better. That was actually not nearly as tight as I thought it was going to be. That come off pretty easy. I don't know if that's a good thing or kind of terrifying. Now, I think the front end looks way better without the windshield, and I do have a bit of a motive. I plan on putting a fairing on this, so we can't use the windshield anyways. While it would be good for trips, it just isn't going to work with our setup, so that's got to go. These aftermarket covers are kind of dumb because they're not real chrome, they're just stupid plastic, and they're peeling pretty bad. So we need to get these taken off. I think the bike would look so much better without them. This is why I don't like that aftermarket cap stuff, because all that stuff's peeling. It just looks like crap. And it is kind of funny that I don't know if somebody labeled these. It's got a L, I'm going to assume, for left and right. I don't think it would matter, but they were on the wrong side. Alright, I'm not going to lie. That's pretty ugly. Without that cap on. I think we're going to put that cap back on. It's pretty ugly, the way that triple tree is. So yeah, let's put that back on. Yeah, I think that looks way better with that cap on, given that triple tree. That stock triple tree without something over top of it does look pretty ugly. Maybe there's something, I'll have to look for caps and see if there's a more sleek cap. I don't want to change the whole triple tree setup because that's just going to cost way too much money. But yeah, pretty ugly without it, so much worse than I thought. But I do like the exposed nut look way better without those cheapo caps. So let's keep going. Alright, let's rip off this whole back end. Okay, so we got all this off. That was mighty painful. You didn't need to see all that. So we cut the video short, and we're just going to tell you what happened. So the right side bag had 13 millimeter bolts, which was very surprising, but it's Viking bags. You're going to assume they're not from here, so you're going to get metric hardware. Was not thinking about that. But then on this side, we had a 5/8 bolt and a 13 millimeter bolt. Kind of strange. But we got the bags off. The left side had its complete support bracket. The right side did not. Whatever. So we took the backrest off, we took the bags off, and it didn't really dawn on me until I took everything off. The bag supports have these long brackets, so they have long bolts. We do not have hardware to mount this fender back up. So this bike is now non-movable. So we're going to have to look around and see what we can find. Oops. Okay, so with the problem of the fender and not quite sure what I'm going to do here, I figured out why our bolts are different, because we have one of these on the left side and not the right side. So we're missing a fender strut on the inside, on the right side. Not sure what we're going to do there, but whatever. We need a win. So we took apart the taillight housing because it has the two blinkers right here. You just unplug, push them back through. We're going to cut these instead of de-pin them and all that because the hole's kind of small. We're just going to cut them, pull it out, and we're not going to have turn signals in the back no more because I don't want them. Alright, doesn't that look much better without turn signals? And since the plugs plug into the back here, you can get a taillight unit that uses integrated, or we cut plenty of room. So if you want to solder them back together, we could probably figure that out, but I'm not going to do that. So for now, I need to figure out what I'm going to do hardware-wise to get this fender mounted back up. I wasn't expecting this problem, but that's what happens when you get into these builds. Never quite know where you're going to end up. Alright, well, we weren't able to come to a real solution today. We're going to have to get some more hardware to mount all this stuff up. So for the time being, we're just going to do something else. I found a used bracket to go on this side. Hopefully that will work. And yeah, I guess we'll move on. One thing I do want to get rid of are these air shocks. I hate air shocks. They're not consistent. They don't work with what I want to do. We did nab the factory shocks when we got the bike, so we're going to change that out, because also before I bolt the fender and do all that stuff back up, I want to take these covers off. So you have to take the top bolt out for the shock. Since we're already going to be halfway there, why don't we just take it out and install our factory shocks. Alright, we got the shocks installed on both sides. Wasn't that big of a deal. Probably didn't have all the washers and everything I quite needed, but those shocks hopefully are not going to stay on there very long. We did find some hardware. We did scratch the bike up a little bit. I'm not super worried about it because the bike is probably going to be painted. But I found this hardware in a box. I think this is actually the peg mount hardware right from there off my old Dyna, but it did fit in the fender strut on the other side, which is good. I was able to put one in the back with a bolt and one in the front that does have that actual fender strut, just to keep the fender in place. I'm not going to sit on the bike, I'm not going to ride the bike, but now that I have the fender mounted up, I can move the bike around. That was really the main goal. After figuring out we're going to have to do something after taking these bags off, now I'm going to be able to push the bike around, get that figured out. Tomorrow I'll probably just get some hardware just to put in there so we can mount the thing. And I did find one of them fender struts, that inner bracket, on eBay, so we ordered that. But it's going to be a while, maybe a few days before it gets here, so that's pretty much where we're at. Alright, we have gone as far as we can go today. We did measure everything, or weigh everything that we took off. The strut covers, the bags, the turn signals, the windshields, the rear rack and sissy bar. We didn't worry about measuring the difference in seats. I didn't think it was much of a difference. But it was almost 32 pounds. That is so much weight off of a Harley Davidson, off any bike really. It's a lot of weight. Now I understand most of that weight was added weight, but from last time I rode it to now, the bike is probably going to feel much better. 32 pounds is so much weight. That is awesome to get that much off of the bike. But there you have it. That's its current configuration. Comment down below if you think this bike looks 10 times better. We definitely need to clean up our work area. But yeah, we just had a friend stop by. We are working on a project with this bike. I can't talk about it yet, but it's something that's going to be in the works this winter. But what do you think she looks like? Comment down below. I think it looks 10 times better. Hopefully tomorrow we're going to get this fender situation figured out with some bolts, at least to get it mounted and make it rideable. I'll try and get some hardware for it. And then hopefully over the weekend, that part we need will come in and we can get it fixed for real. I definitely think this looks so much better back here without that turn signal bracket and the turn signals. We can still do a laydown plate. I mean, this isn't a bad plate to run for a little while. It's not going to be like at the top of my list to fix, but it would be nice to have a slimmer laydown plate, so where it's sitting right at the fender and kind of sticking up like that. And obviously I kind of don't want chrome. This bike has a lot of chrome. While we're not trying to replace everything, it would be nice to get rid of some of this chrome here. We can change the base of this to put a black one on it, so that's not chrome. A lot of chrome here, so you know, it would be nice to get rid of some of that. But as of right now, I think this bike looks so much better than it did. Definitely let us know what you think. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. I mean, why not? You know, I think I'm doing an okay job. But we're going to keep going on this bike. We got a lot of plans for this thing. Comment down below what you want to see happen, and maybe it'll happen. We're going to spend some money on it. So subscribe, keep up to date, hit that notification bell, and so you'll see every time one of these videos come up. It'll be in a playlist. It's going to be a build series. You're watching it right now. So stay abreast to this, and we're going to have a good time. And as always, keep it wretched.